I put this together for you guys. I think the best thing you can do is print off this first page and make sure you have it on your desk in front of you when you're working at home, however it went on your exam day, okay? We're going to do this review together today and tomorrow, and then we're going to go through this today and tomorrow. Like I said, I promised to record and upload it, and then Wednesday I won't be here because I have to go to graduation practice. But Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend, we have one day of class. It's a review day for A and C, and then you guys have your final. So I want to make sure that you have all of this before Memorial Day weekend, so you have stuff to go over. I'll show you other stuff that you can redo and look at in order to prepare. But this whole section, guys, we talk about circles, parabolas, ellipses, hyperbolas. They're called conics. All right? This standard equation of a circle right here. Our center is h and k. The radius is at the end. It's radius squared, right? You guys are familiar with this. Here's our two parabolas, depending upon if it's a horizontal or a vertical. Then we have our two ellipses, depending upon if it's horizontal or vertical. And then we have our hyperbolas, depending upon if it's horizontal or vertical, okay? There's slight differences in hyperbolas and ellipses. Ellipses have the plus sign in the middle. Hyperbolas have the minus sign. But if you notice, depending upon the length or where the major axis is, whether it's vertical or horizontal, in an ellipse, the A and the B switches, depending upon which is the major, X or Y. In a hyperbola, if you notice, A and B always stay. A is first, B is second. So it's important that you guys just kind of take a look at this, familiarize yourself with everything again. Don't just wait until the day of the exam and be like, oh wait, because there's a lot of slight little differences that you could make silly mistakes on, and I don't want you guys to do that. But I think this is a very, very important thing for you to print out and have in front of you. All right, so I just numbered these. It's not numbered on yours. I just threw numbers on them today, so I had something to reference. But you guys, it'll tell you in the problem what you're looking for. All right, if I look at this, and I want the center and the radius. The only time we talk about a center is what? What shape? A circle. All right? So you don't have to be searching all over. A lot of the times they'll say, like here on number 2, it says the circle in standard form. Here it says find the x, y intercepts of the circle below. So pay attention to the wording that they give you here. But in this basic question for number 1, remember our equation of a circle. If you don't remember what it is, you should have it right above you so you can see, but it's x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals radius squared. So just by looking at this equation that is in standard form already, what is the center of this circle? What? Positive 9 and negative 4. Very good. This is my h, this is my k. What is the radius? R squared equals 80. So how do you find the R? How do you find the radius? Take the square root. So R equals, I know what you meant. What can I break 80 up into, guys? Don't just leave it as 80. 16 times 5. What is the square root of 16? 4. So your radius here is 4 root 5. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, let's look at the second one. All right, given the following information, write the equation of the circle in standard form. If you don't have a picture, sometimes it's good to draw one. A lot of you made this mistake on this test when we gave it. A lot of you just found the distance between these 2 points, said that was the radius, and then moved on. What they are telling you is the diameter of the circle. So if I draw my circle here, right, and I'm going to put 2 points. Doesn't matter where you put them. Just put them across from each other. Let's say this one is the negative 8, 3. And this one is the 10, negative 7. You guys with me? I need 2 things in order to write the equation of a circle. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals radius squared. What are the 2 things that I need? I need the center, and what else? And the radius, good. They did not give me either of those two things with those 2 points that they gave me. They gave me the diameter. Diameter is from one side to the other. I don't need to know the whole thing. I need to know half of the diameter. So you could find the distance from one side to the other and then cut it in half. Or you can find the center and then find the radius. So let's go ahead and find the center. How do you find the center? You use the midpoint formula. So I'm going to take my x values, which are 10 and -8, divide by 2. Then my y values, -7 and 3, divide by 2. What's 10 plus a -8? 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my center is at 1, comma. What's -7 plus 3? 4. -4, right? And then -4 divided by 2 is -2. So my center is at 1, -2. Now I have my h and my k. Now I got to find my radius. To find the radius, you would find the distance from the center, 1, -2, to one of the points that they gave us. It doesn't matter which one. It's the same distance. So you guys could do whatever you would like. I'm going to do from here to here. So my distance is my x values. So what are my x's? 10 and 1, right? Yes or no, guys? Okay, 10 minus 1 squared plus, what are my y's? -7 minus -2 squared. So I have 10 minus 1 is 9 squared plus -7 plus 2 is what? -5 squared. So I have 81 plus 25. What's 81 and 25? 106. So my radius is the square root of 106. That still does not give me my equation in standard form, but I have the two pieces of information that I need, so I can go ahead and plug that in. So I'm going to say x minus h, well, h is my 1 squared, plus y minus k. Well, k is -2, so two negatives gives me a positive, equals, and then the radius is the square root of 106. So if I take the square root of 106 and I square it, the square root and the squared cancels out, so I just have 106. So there is your equation in standard form. There's a lot of work that you had to do to get to that point. You had given the 2 points, okay? They gave you 2 points on a circle, great. But from there, you had to then find the distance. You had to find the center and then find the distance from the center to one of the outside points that they gave us. You guys okay with that? You with me? Guys, come on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, find intercepts. Intercepts are where the graph touches the x and or y axis. How do you find intercepts? You plug in 0. All right, so if I'm going to find the x-intercept, then I plug in 0 for what? For y. Good. So x plus 9 quantity squared plus 0 minus 5 quantity squared equals 30. So just simplify. X plus 9 squared plus, what's -5 squared? 25, right? Equals 30. Subtract 25 from both sides. So I have x plus 9 quantity squared equals 5. Now what? Take the square root of both sides. Good. So I have x plus 9 equals plus or minus root 5. One more step. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So I have x equals -9 plus or minus square root of 5. Now, on a multiple choice test, totally fine with you guys leaving it like that because you're going to pick your answers. But if this were a free response, I would expect my answers to be -9 plus root 5, comma 0, and -9 minus root 5, comma 0. Because when you find intercepts, you're finding the ordered pair, the x value and the y. All right, so now we're going to do the exact same thing like Andrew just told us, but instead of plugging in 0 for y, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So I have 0 plus 9 squared plus y minus 5 quantity squared equals 30. What is 0 plus 9? 9, and then 9 squared is 81, plus y minus 5 quantity squared equals 30. Now what? Perfect. Subtract 81 from both sides, and you get y minus 5 quantity squared equals what? What's 30 minus 81? 30 minus 81.
Negative 51.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Negative 51. Do I have to go any further? Okay, so if I do, what would I do here? I'd take the square root. Do I have to go any further? Why? There's a negative number underneath the radical. That means my answer is going to be imaginary. Graphically, that means this circle does not touch the y-intercept. Once you get to this point, you don't have to go any further, guys. You can just say, oh, I already know the answer to this. There's no y-intercept. If you get a negative underneath the radical, there is no y-intercept. And the reason why is because it's imaginary. Questions? You guys with me? All right, you're doing a good job. Hang on one second. I got to send a quick email. Okay, look at this one. It says write the equation of the what? Write the equation of the what? Circle. Okay, so right away, I would immediately say, okay, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Just so you know what you're looking at, what you're dealing with. Now, in this case, guys, this is obviously not in standard form. We've done these problems a lot, so we're going to just have to complete the square. No big deal. So I'm going to keep my x's together and my y's. So I have x squared plus 12x plus the box, right? And then I have y squared plus 4y plus the box equals what? Yep, move that 9 over, it becomes negative 9. Good. All right, so now we're just going to very simply complete the square for each one. I'm going to take that middle term, my b term, and I'm going to divide it by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So my first binomial is x plus 6 quantity squared, and then I square 6 and I put it right there in the box, which is 36. What you do to one side, you do where? To the other side. So I have plus 36. Questions? We're all right? All right, now same thing. I'm going to take this middle term, 4 divided by 2, and I get 2. So my binomial here is y plus 2 quantity squared equals, if I square 2, it goes right here in the box. So what you do to one side, you do to the other. We're going to add 4. So on the right-hand side, negative 9, 36, and 4 gives me what? What is it? Well, this is 40, and then the minus 9, 31, right? So what you have just done right here is you found the center. Here's your h, here's your k, and this is your radius squared, right? So in standard form, my equation looks just like this, as you guys just found it. X plus 6 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared equals 31. So my center is at what? Perfect. Negative 6 and add a girl, negative 2. What's my radius? Radius squared equals 31. So you take the square root. It doesn't break down to anything, so it's just the square root of 31. Good. Good, good, good. All right, we're shifting gears a little bit, right? Pay attention to what this says. This says to write the equation of the parabola. All right, first thing I would do, personally, is I would look at this and I'd say, okay, what kind of a parabola is it? Is it a y squared or is it an x squared? How do you know it's a y squared? Because the y is what? Squared. There we go. So let's go ahead and look back on your little cheat sheet if you want to. What is the parabola formula for a y squared? What's the standard equation look like? Look back at the beginning. For a y squared. Y minus k squared equals what? 4p times x minus h. Okay, good. So I have to complete the square, obviously. So I have y squared plus 6y plus my box. And then what do I do with this negative 4x and the negative 7? We move it over, so it just becomes 4x plus 7. Questions? Anybody? All right, so if we complete the square, we're going to take 6 divided by 2, and I get 3. So my parenthesis, my binomial here is y minus 3 quantity squared equals 4p times, well, what do we have over here? If I square 3, it becomes 9. What I do to one side, I do to the other, so add 9. So I have 4x plus 16. Well, now what?
Ms. Meadows,
Yes, ma'am.
would it be a plus 3 if you didn't get like the negative?
Say it again.
Like,
Oh, here, I didn't.
And why is it
yeah, my bad.
negative?
I just didn't put the plus. You're right. I'm sorry.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I just didn't put a plus. You're right. Thank you, thank you. What do I do here, guys? I'm going to take out this 4, right? So this becomes x what? X plus 4, okay. What do I do here? Why do they cancel out? You're right. 4p equals what number? 4, right? So divide both sides by 4, so p equals 1. So your equation of your parabola is y plus 3 squared equals 4 times x plus 4. So here's our equation in standard form. Y plus 3 squared equals 4 times x plus 4. What is my vertex? Be careful with this. Where is my vertex? Which one is my h and which one is my k, guys? Very good. This is my h over here because it's with the x, and this is my k. So my vertex is at negative 4, negative 3. Very good, Andrew.
Ms. Meadows?
Yes, ma'am. Talk, please, about these two things. Focus and the directrix. I told you guys something very important about both of those things. Which way does the parabola open? Towards what? It opens towards the focus and what from the directrix? Away from the directrix. Okay, that's important information because it'll tell you what your parabola, which direction it's going to go. So if we gave ourselves a little picture here. All right, let's draw just a little picture. Where is my vertex? At what? Negative 4, negative 3, right? So here is my vertex. They're asking you for the focus, and they're asking you for the directrix. Which way is my parabola opening? Upwards or downwards? Why? Because it's positive. It opens toward. So my focus is going to be above that. My directrix is going to be below it. Anybody remember what that P value stands for? Ooh, we got some remembering to do. Andrew, tell me. Distance away from the focus and the directrix. Because remember, it's equidistant. It's just one goes one way, one goes the other. So my focus, what was my P value here? What did we say P was? 1. So my focus is going to be right here. and my directrix is going to be here. Remember, we write our focus as a point. So what is that point that our focus is? What is that point right here in the green? -4, -2. And then what is the equation of this line right here? Y equals what? Not 5. -4. Right? My focus is 1 above. My directrix is 1 below. Standard form of the ellipse. Right? Look. Ellipse. Before you do anything, if I were you, and I'm not, so I know you guys don't always listen to what I say, I would write my standard form of an ellipse. So I'm going to look here and I'm going to say, okay, an ellipse. Ellipse, hyperbola, ellipse, okay? Which is going to come first, guys, the y or the x? Or do we know yet? We don't know yet? Okay, so then I'm just going to, just because y is first here, I'm just going to write what the equation like that. So my equation of my ellipse is x minus h squared over, I'm going to actually just write it as I normally would, a squared. Then I have minus y minus k squared over b squared equals what? Should be a plus. Equals what? 1. All right. What do we know about the a and the b value when you're talking about an ellipse? Okay. Not necessarily the a value is bigger. Whatever the major axis is the bigger variable. Right? Is that the easiest way to say that, Ms. Garber?
Is that for hyperbolas?
Ellipse. It'll work itself out. Just watch, guys. It'll work itself out. That's fine. You don't even really have to think about that part. It'll work itself out. So let's just complete the square. All right, so I'm going to put my y's together. So I have 9y squared plus 18y plus my box. And then I have x squared minus 10x plus the box equals what? Yep, we're going to move that 2 over, and it's going to become positive 2. Does anybody have any questions so far? Go. Okay, so here we go. Take this, and I'm going to complete the square, but I can't complete the square just as we have it right now. Why not? What's wrong? We got to take out that 9. Good. So I'm going to factor out that 9, and that leaves me with y squared plus 2y, right? Plus the box. You guys with me? We're good? Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to take my 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my parenthesis, my binomial, is 1 plus y plus 1, quantity squared, my 9 out in front. Now, I'm going to square 1 and put it right here. But I am not just adding 1 to this side. I'm adding what to this side? 9. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Remember, you cannot forget about the number that you factor out. Here, I have nothing to factor out. I'm just going to take my negative 10, divide by 2. So now I have negative 5. So this parenthesis is x minus 5 quantity squared. And then I have to square this, so I get 25. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm going to add 25. You guys with me? Everybody with me? So I'm going to add, what's 25 plus 9 plus 2? $25 plus 9 plus 2. 36. Now, is this an equation of an ellipse in standard form? Why not? What is it not set equal to? It's got to be equal to 1. What can I divide I can divide everything good by 36. And when you guys do this, this works out. This is where we get our A and our B terms and stuff like that from. 9 goes into 9 once. 9 goes into 36 4 times. So this is y plus 1 quantity squared over 4. Plus x minus 5 quantity squared over 36 equals what number? 1. There is my equation in standard form. What can you tell me, guys, about this ellipse? You can tell me something about its direction. What is this value and what is this value? What is 4, A, B, or C, and what is 36, A, B, or C? 4 is B because it's what? Smaller. 36 is A squared because it's bigger. So that tells you what kind, like, so at the beginning, when I said, can you guys tell me? Can't really write off the bat, but once you work it out, then you're okay. Since they're both positive, we got a plus in the middle. You can write it like this. You could write it the other way if you wanted. You could write x minus 5 over 36, x minus 5 squared over 36 equals y plus 1 over 4. That's fine. You could have written it either way. That's totally fine. What is the vertex? If I said to you guys, okay, fine, well, what's the vertex? Would you tell me the vertex is here? What is it? Perfect. Positive 5, negative 1. If you know that your A value is something and your B value is something, and I asked you to find the C value, well, A is what? What's my A value? 6. Good. What is my B value? 2. If you're talking about an ellipse, how do you find the C value? All stuff that you guys have that little sheet right in front of you. So look back at ellipse. What is C? C squared equals what? A squared minus B squared. In an ellipse, it's minus. In a hyperbola, it's what? Plus. Okay, so be careful with that. So C squared equals 36 minus 4. C squared equals 32. So if I said to you, what's the C value? You guys would tell me it's square root of 32. Break that down. 16 and 2. Yes? This would be 4 root 2. Yep. So 4 square root of 2. And then you could find vertices and all that stuff from there. All right, we okay? I know we haven't seen parabolas and ellipses in a while, so we're going to work on that a little bit. I'll stop right there for right now. I'll upload this, and then I'll do the next set of questions tomorrow with you guys.